Have you ever found yourself, wrestling with systems that are just old, trying to make them work in today's world?
Oh, absolutely. It's a huge challenge.
Especially in complex global industries, right? It's
Yeah.
not just annoying, it can seriously block efficiency.
Yeah.
So today we're doing a deep dive into exactly that. We're looking at how one major player, Ermetal, in motor vehicle manufacturing tackled this head on.
Hmm.
And Ermetal, they're not small fry. They're a big global manufacturer, shipping parts everywhere, Europe, Brazil, Argentina, South Africa.
But they have a serious reach.
And they're really known for this commitment to quality, like always improving, aiming for perfection.
It's a great case study, actually. Ermetal's story really shows this universal challenge of digital transformation in a tough industry.
Moving from manual ways to something data-driven.
Exactly. Getting away from processes that are, frankly, often prone to errors. This isn't just about Ermetal, though. It's about the principles, how you modernize operations.
Okay, so let's get into the weeds. What were Ermetal's specific problems? Their pain points?
Well, a big one was their planning system.
Right. I heard it relied on something called an infinite capacity principle. That sounds optimistic?
Yeah, that's one way to put it. Optimistic, maybe unrealistic. It's essentially planning as if you have unlimited resources.
Like infinite machines, infinite time.
Pretty much. Infinite everything, which in manufacturing, that just doesn't exist.
No. So how can a company aiming for perfection plan like that if you're ignoring the real world, the actual constraints?
That's the core problem. It meant their plans were always kind of theoretical, not based on what could actually happen on the shop floor. It's amazing how often these hidden inefficiencies just become normal,
It's just the way we do things.
right, until it causes a major problem.
So what did that look like day to day? You mentioned the plans needed a lot of manual intervention.
Oh, constantly. Because the plans were unrealistic from the start, people had to spend huge amounts of time manually adjusting things, trying to make the fantasy fit reality.
That sounds painful and costly.
It was. It led directly to losses, big deviations from their production targets, just a lot of wasted effort.
And what about the data they already had from their ERP system, the YK software?
Well, that's the other kicker. Often that valuable data was just ignored. The planning system couldn't really use it effectively.
So you've got bad plans and you're ignoring the good data you actually have.
Exactly. It just compounded the errors, made achieving their quality goals even harder. A real mess.
Okay, so they obviously knew this wasn't sustainable. What was the first big step they took to get away from this infinite capacity thinking
They realized they needed a completely different approach, a fundamental shift
towards reality, presumably?
towards reality. They chose Planet Together APS.
Mhm.
They picked it for specific reasons. Strong planning tools, user-friendly setup, and this was key, its ability to integrate well with what they already had.
So integration was crucial.
Absolutely. And the core idea, the big shift, was moving to finite capacity planning.
Okay, explain that. How is it different?
It's the opposite of infinite capacity. Finite capacity planning starts by acknowledging reality.
Hmm.
You only have so many machines, so many people, so much material, and only 24 hours in a day.
Right. It sounds like common sense, but I guess it's complex to model.
It is, but it's a total game changer for accurate planning. It aligns the plan with what's actually possible, not just what's theoretically desirable. Think about managing any project, right? If you assume everyone can work infinite hours.
Deadlines get missed every time.
Exactly. Same principle here, just with machines and materials.
So aligning with reality, that sounds like a huge improvement. But how did they actually implement this new system? Ermetal's a global operation. That must have been tricky.
They handled it very carefully. It wasn't just plug and play. They customized the software-tailored Planet Together to fit Ermetal's specific operational needs.
So not a one-size-fits-all thing.
Definitely not. Then, a big focus was on that seamless integration we talked about, connecting it with their Quady system, other partner applications, making sure the data flowed correctly.
And getting the staff on board.
Critical. Comprehensive training was a major part, making sure everyone understood the new system, how to use it, why it was better.
Yeah.
That helps smooth adoption, gets people invested.
Okay, so the system's in place, people are trained. How did Planet Together actually change things on the ground? What was the mechanism that made the difference?
Right, this is the really interesting part, the how-to. Planet Together created this dynamic active link between Ermetal's production systems, the feed from the floor, and their MES, their manufacturing execution systems.
Dynamic and active, what does that mean in practice?
It means it wasn't just a one-time data dump. Production orders were automatically continuously synchronized. So if a machine went down unexpectedly,
Which happens.
all the time, or maybe a rush order comes in, Plan It Together gets that real-time feedback and can instantly re-optimize the entire schedule around it.
Wow, so it reacts almost instantly.
Exactly. It enables true finite capacity planning because it always knows the current state and constraints. No more waiting hours or days for someone to manually update a spreadsheet.
That real-time element sounds incredibly powerful. So what were the immediate effects? What did Ermetal see change right away?
The improvements were pretty dramatic, actually. Those data-driven plans immediately cut down the need for all that manual firefighting.
Less time spent fixing problems.
Much less. Which also meant fewer errors creeping in. Communication between different workshops got way better, too, because everyone was working off the same accurate, up-to-date plan.
So things just flowed more smoothly.
Yeah, much easier realization of the plans, and you could see the operational efficiency just climb. It makes you think, doesn't it? How much hidden time is really eaten up by manual interventions in older systems?
Totally. You mentioned before that manual replanning after disruptions was a huge drain for them.
It was a massive headache.
Yeah.
Drained resources, impacted morale. Now the system just adjusts. It lets the team focus on actually making things, not constantly managing crises.
So big picture then. Sum up the tangible benefits for Ermetal.
Okay, bottom line. Their old, error-prone manual planning, gone. Replaced by efficient, data-driven plans.
Which led to?
Increased operational efficiency across their whole global network.
Yeah.
A big drop in errors, fewer quality issues, better delivery performance. And interestingly, they actually saw a reduction in their planning workforce needed.
Because the system optimized so much.
Right. It automated a huge chunk of that work. It shows how one software solution, when implemented well, can have these ripple effects through the whole company, from job assignments right up to meeting those global commitments.
That accurate tracking and synchronization sounds key.
It was fundamental. It really boosted their manufacturing capabilities, letting them maintain that high standard of quality and efficiency they're known for.
And their CEO, Yusari Sawalp, he had a quote about this, didn't he?
He did, and it really sums it up perfectly. He said, thanks to its fast and user-friendly interfaces, we have replaced plans that are dependent on individuals and prone to error, which were learned by rote, with plans based on analysis and created in light of data.
Created in light of data. That says it all, really. A powerful outcome for this deep dive.
It really is. So I think the core lesson for you, the listener, is just how powerful that shift is. Moving from assumptions that infinite capacity trap to a reality-based, data-driven, finite capacity approach. It's a paradigm shift.
And it's not just Ermetal's story, is it? It shows how specialized software that comes from, deep research and industry knowledge, can make a real difference.
Absolutely. Like Plan It Together, it wasn't just cooked up overnight. It came out of decades of research at Cornell University, combined with years of hands-on industry experience, founded back in 2004.
Right. Their mission is basically to solve these fundamental planning and scheduling problems that hold manufacturers back, help them deliver faster, more profitably.
Helps them keep customers happy.
Exactly. So here's a final thought for you to chew on. Where in your own life, or maybe in a system you work with or observe, might you be operating on a kind of infinite capacity assumption?
Interesting question.
And what could change? What could you optimize if you really applied a finite capacity, data-driven approach instead?